So in part 3, we managed to get the backend application called App Engine Assistant, Mobile Assistant App Engine, and we have the client application Mobile Assistant. So we're going to continue building the applications. We're going to start at the start building the application step. Now, the first thing we need to do is create a check-in entity class, which means that a customer can check in a store. So this class will have a ORM interface, and that's what App Engine Backend is going to provide. So the customer check-in will insert the store information in the backend data store. So we're going to start creating the entity class for our check-in. So in our App Engine source folder, we're going to say create new class. So in this case, we're going to call it check-in.java, same as in the sample code. If you notice, it's check-in.java. Say finish. Now I'm going to use the code in the sample to replace this code just so it's faster. So let's copy this code and replace it The only thing I need to change is the package name, so I can make sure I use the correct package name. Okay, so now that I've replaced the code from the boilerplate, I can save it, and now I have to generate a cloud endpoint class library. So to do that, we need to follow the steps in this link. So I open that link and go to the entity class design pattern. So in the package explorer, I can right click and say new class, which I just did, enter the name of the class, click finish. Now I save the class. Now in the package explorer, I can right click the class I just created. So we're doing step 6 now. So right click the class we created and say Google generate endpoint cloud endpoint class. So right click Google generate cloud endpoint class. Now what that does is it generates the endpoint class for this class. Now if you notice, we have a check-in endpoint.java, which when I open that, looks like this. So now I have a check-in endpoint for the entity class that I have. Now what we need to do is create the library for that endpoint. So in the package explorer, I can right click on the project and select Google generate endpoint client, Google generate cloud endpoint client library. So right click on the project, Google generate endpoint client library. So now it's generating the Google endpoint client library, and once that's done, we can open the check-in class in our editor. So the Google endpoint client library essentially added these libs to our mobile assistant project, and we can always go through all the classes that were generated using that, but we don't need to worry about it too much at this point, but we just need to know that they're there. So let's look at what's in our check-in.java. So in check-in.java, we need to replace one of the methods with a new entity exists exception. So in the insert check-in method, so we need to open the check-in endpoint, and we should find the insert check-in method, and we can just delete the lines if contains check-in. So I'm going to just comment these 3 lines out right now. So now we can check this code. So in my client application, I can open main activity.java. So main activity.java, and it says replace the boilerplate code with the code in main activity 01.java. So we'll go to our main activity 01.java, and we're going to essentially replace it, copy and paste it, and replace this code. So most of it is boilerplate, so you don't need to worry about it too much. So I can copy and paste it here. Now notice that I have to fix the places where I have to put the right path. So notice that my check-in endpoint class in here is located in my library here. So I need to make sure that those paths are correct. So specifically, I need com.code stk.mobileassistant as my path to the check-in endpoint. So let's fix that. So here I can say com.code stk, and the same goes for com.code stk. Okay, so now we have those two filled in. So the next thing we need to do is test the code. So to test the code, I'm going to run it. So let's do a few things to test it. So what we'll do is we'll go to cloud endpoint utils.java, cloud endpoint utils.java, which is here in our client, and we're going to set local Android run to true. So set this to true, and we're going to set our local App Engine server URL to 10.0.2.2. So 10. Well, we can leave it as is at localhost 8888, and now we can say debug as on the App Engine project. So I right click and say debug as web application, and hopefully that should start. the application on our local host. So it says the app server is running. So if I go to localhost colon 8888, it shows me the starter template. So that should indicate that our app engine is working, and we can go to the admin. So if I go to _/_ah /admin, I can see the data store. Now in my admin, I need to generate events. So the way to do that is to run the client. So let's run the client. So I say run as Android application. So this should launch my emulator. So while I wait for this emulator to load, I'm going to continue in my